What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about BAM! The Unholy Consult by R. Scott Bakker. Guys, this is book number 4 and the final book in the Aspect Emperor series. Woo-wee! So, before I get into this, I just want to let you know that this is going to be a spoiler video, filled to the brim with all kinds of spoiler nation. So if you haven't read the book, but you want to know more about it, I'll put a link to my spoiler-free review down in the description. This whole thing really is for fans of the series, people that like to spoil shit, and me, the guy that's got to get this shit out of his head pronto, okay? Let's get into it. Okay, so right out the gate, we find out that Kelmomas is alive. And though that's unfortunate, it is kind of nice the way that Bakker has picked this story up after, leaving us in the Great Ordeal with a lot of things just kind of up in the air. We immediately begin to get those questions answered, and we're getting the closure we need to carry on forward. So now we are here with Kellis, Esmenet, and Kelmomas. Kelmomas is cursing Ajokli, the four-horned brother, for basically giving him a false sense of hope towards the destruction of his father. Now we also see that Kellis spares Kelmomas and essentially puts his fate in his mother's hands. And, Kelmomas is a monster, but Esmenet is mom, and that's her baby. So monster or not, she's going to spare him. This is also where we get that little bit where Kellis says to Esmenet that Kelmomas is the most broken of their children. Kellis and Esmenet begin to argue. Esmenet has great arguing points, considering she's like, hey, why the fuck did you leave me in charge of a doomed empire? Now, also, as they're arguing, there's this great little piece that I love. Okay, so we start to understand that Malawibi is not dead. He's alive to some extent. Though I do have to say, right out the gate, I was a little confused. I was like, wait, Malawibi's alive? Is he stuck in his own dead body? What's going on? This situation just doesn't seem very good for Malawibi. And then we fucking come to find out he's a decapitated head now swinging from Kellis's waist. Woo! Fuck yes! Then we jump back to Ishternbith, where we're picking up with Sorewheel, Serwa, and Moenghus. And they're making their exit. They're retreating from the mountain, and we're beginning to get some past perspectives from Moenghus. One of his time there in being tortured by Harapier. And we see that this has opened up even further past perspectives. One where Moenghus remembers, basically his mother Esmenet and not being his real mother, and how she holds him a little different than the rest of her children. Now we also see that this time in the torture chamber with Harapier, Moenghus understands that Serwa could have ended this at any time, that she had the power to put an end to it, but she's still playing her father's game, which doesn't go well with Moenghus. So we begin to see this wedge being put in between Moenghus and his family, but then that also pushes Sorewheel and Serwa together. And then we get that little scene on the mountain, yeah, that's right. Sorewheel finally gets the girl. After watching her fuck her brother this whole time, he's finally gets his due. And, I know that sounds like I'm being a little fucking toxic or whatever, but the thing is, guys, I'm just making jokes, okay? I actually am very happy for Sorewheel. I felt like this was something that needed to happen. I felt like there was a connection between him and Serwa from the very beginning. And so when the boy gets the girl, you gotta understand, I was really happy. I know I'm making jokes, so let's just chill for a sec. Though it is after Sorewheel and Serwa make love that Sorewheel is out on the mountain and he sees the stork. And this is like just realization settling into Sorewheel in a dark way, because he's like, he's gone through all this shit. He's gotten out of the mountain, he got the girl, and now he sees this stork, which is only a huge reminder that the mother is still watching. It's also in this chapter that we see that they come across Skilvindi, and then Serwa goes to make that magical leaping jump, and this got a little confusing for me, and I will pick up when we pick up with this thread, but I think there's probably going to be a couple people that read this and were like, what just happened? Did Moenghus die, or did she leave him? What? I'll tell you my thoughts on that when we pick up with the thread. Now we pop back over to the Great Ordeal, where the men are praising the meat. And we know this is insanity, but we've watched these men become something they're not along the way, right? And now the men of the ordeal want answers, and Proyus has been put in charge, so he's the one to give it to them. And he's telling them that Kellis is okay. He's alive. And the only reason why he's not here right now is because their victory is so utterly complete. And this gets some of the men of the ordeal to laughing. And we get Lord Grimmel, I think his name is. Lord Grimmel is really like laughing and just creating kind of a scene. And I love this because it's like where Caius kind of nudges Proyus and he's like, we're going to have to keep an eye on that one. And Proyus is even asking his nephew, he's like, what's happening to us, Keu? And Caius is just like, we eat shrank, uncle. It's also in this meeting where we see Prince Nurbanu basically kind of make a protest. But this doesn't last very long because we see Caius get up and slash his throat. And this is kind of, for me, it was like, holy shit, did this just happen? And it just further kind of pushes this whole deal forward that, like, look, we're dealing with crazy motherfuckers. Ultimately, our great ordeal picks themselves up by the bootstraps and carries forward into a Gongaria. Now we pop back to the Damoa Mountains and pick up with Akamian and Mymara as they're still pushing their way towards Golgotharoth themselves. Now it's along the way that we see that Mymara mentions to Akamian that he's mumbling. And she asks him, who's not Sarah? Which sparks up this whole conversation of not Sarah, which leads into Inrao. And, we see that, Akamian he loves his students, especially Inrao and Proyus. So this whole, conversation is kind of a soft spot for Akamian, and it doesn't help that Mymara is pointing out certain aspects of everything that went down that's just kind of fueling the fire. Because to her, she's like, well, yeah, this whole thing ended not so well for Inrao, but his death is what brought us the information of the consult. So it's okay, and Akamian's like, no, it's not okay. It's also during this part where Akamian is beginning to really reflect on the Kiri. He is seeing the toll that it takes. And I love this realization when he starts to begin to understand that you don't take the Kiri, you give to it. It's a way for these non-man kings to be kind of reborn through your life. And then we see that this actually creates a little bit of conflict within Akamian because this is somewhat akin to cannibalism. This is when Mymara and Akamian come across the water and they see all the bodies of Shrank. And Akamian begins to put two and two together and he realizes what Kellis has done. He knows that he has destroyed the horde. Not exactly how, but he knows that it all went down in Dagliesh, that's probably what the explosion he saw had to do with, and it's pretty fucking intense, right? Because this is something that should not have been obtainable, but now he's witnessing the aftermath of the impossible. It just, woo! Then we see that Akamian is trying to cross this river and he's offering help to Mymara, but he's also telling her, get rid of the fucking Kore, woman. What he actually says is, get rid of those accursed trinkets. And she tells him they're only accursed to you because you are damned. Now we pop back to the Great Ordeal where the men are killing their horses for food. What we see is that the horse meat does not satisfy these men because we know what they want. But more sinister is during this scene, as the men are killing their horses, they're mocking the death screams of these animals. And this is just fucked up. It's very dark to wrap your head around. These guys slitting throats on horses, the poor horses crying, and these men just going, We get that little back and forth between Caius and Proyus, where, Caius is telling him about how the meat anchors their every measure. And Proyus is even asking him, what are you saying? And Caius tells him that something must be eaten. Now we also begin to get these little past perspectives of Proyus and his teachings on Triamus, an old general. And this is somebody that Proyus has read his teachings even as a child and all throughout life. And this is how Proyus is trying to he's recalling these memories and these lessons because he's trying to figure out how he is going to lead this great ordeal. The teachings teach him when to pull back on the reins and also when to let go. So Proyus is really beginning to mull over all these teachings of Triamus. This is when we see the men begin to mutiny. They're they're addicted to the shrink meat. And they're just like a fucking Dave Chappelle skit, just like, you guys got any more of them shrank? It's fucking sick and gross because you literally have these men who are screaming at their leader like, we need to go back. We need to go back where the meat is. These guys are literal crackheads at this point. And I love that Proyus tells them, no, only, back in Dagliash, there's only death. We're going forward to Golgotharoth. Golgotharoth is our granary. He also tells these guys, like, look, if anybody wants to mutiny, your fucking lives and everything is forfeit to the ordeal. Now, we see that during the night, that doesn't matter. You can threaten some of these people. They're so fucking mad by the meat that they're going to mutiny anyway, and this happens, and it's a fucked up little twist of events. We see that Proyus kind of has to safeguard his sorcerers and witches, and he sacrifices some judges to this whole mutiny thing. And it's really dark and twisted because you're dealing with like cannibalism, sodomy, and rape, and just, it's fucking dark and dastardly. During this whole deal too, I love this little conversation that ends up happening between Caius and Proyus, but where Proyus tells him like, hey nephew, we will ponder Golgotharoth together. And this is where Proyus is kind of asking his nephew, he's like, do you think this is going to be enough? And Caius says, no. And then Proyus asks him, well, how does one pilot insanity? And Caius says, I fear that power is reserved for prophets only, uncle. And this is when Proyus begins to understand if he does not provide victims for the ordeal, they will take them from themselves. So essentially, if you don't feed this fucking ordeal with enemies, it's just gonna cannibalize itself. Ooh, fuck. This is when Proyus really takes charge and does one of the most fucked up things ever, right? So he ushers the men towards Golgotharoth, and he's like ramping them up, and he's telling them like, look, we will fucking eat what hell hath cooked for us. This is where we get the perspective of the scalded. And so we start to kind of put two and two together, what's going on. And so the men of the ordeal are making this mad rush towards the scalded. Now, as the great ordeal approaches this leprous mob, Proyus sees Sebawool vodka in all his horror, because he is very like mutilated, disfigured, just fucked up as being one of the scalded. And we see Proyus lays eyes on him, and like a madman jumps off his horse and goes to Sebawool. And I love this part because it says words should have been exchanged. But they're not. Proyus just starts beating Sebawool to the ground. Now, I gotta say, I'm like, what the fuck, Proyus? That's my homeboy. Both of these guys are my homeboys. I love both these characters. So this whole scene really fucking broke my heart, because up until this point, you guys are probably, I just dropped my, fucking great ordeal spoiler video where I was like, I can't wait to see what Sebawool is up to. Well, when I got to this part and found out what he was up to, it was fucking heartbreaking, okay? But let's just get into it. I love that Sebawool is just, it describes him like being dressed in ulcers. Septic flesh, his like ears and shit are missing. The only thing that's really intact are his eyeballs, so it makes it look like he's wearing a mask of himself. And his fucking, it mentions this whole deal like somebody's so like fucked up that like even his breathing pollutes all air. Now we're getting this part where Proyus is just beating Sebawool into the ground, but then we also get that little part, and this is where I started getting really uplifted, because I was like, oh shit, Proyus and Sebawool are gonna like join forces and do, because it's like that part where they both start staring at the horns of Golgotharoth, and this is a little haunting. You're like, what the fuck? And I love that line where it's like the king and the leper both understood. And like I said, this was uplifting for me in the moment, because I thought some crazy shit was going to be born out of this. I did not see where it was about to go, because Sebawool starts saying some cool shit. He's like, we walk, we pace the beam of hell together. We travel the shortest path, brother. But Proyus fucking keeps smashing Sebawool, turns his head away from the west, away from the horns, to face the rest of the scalded as they're being like annihilated by the rest of the ordeal men. And then Proyus breaks out his knife. And fuck. This is literally a part of this book where my heart broke. Like you guys, I'm telling you, I love the Sebawool character. I knew that he was not destined for great things. I've kind of thought he was going to actually have a much bigger part, and this whole Raylith part stuff was going to play out into something super dark and dastardly, but no. Sebawool and the Scalded are literally just cooked to be lunch for the ordeal. And I have to say, if anyone was going to eat Sebawool, I'm glad it was my boy Proyus. Now, this also gives us that little bit of Proyus kind of like at odds with himself, sort of. It's this whole thing with the greater Proyus kind of coming forth, like he has overcome his derision, and he's just like, he's here now. The greater Proyus has made his escape. He's been hiding in the shadows while the lesser Proyus really ran the show. But now the Psycho is here, and, he's boss. Then we pop back to Serwa and Sorewheel as they're kind of coming out of this magical leap, and Sorewheel goes to confront Serwa because Moenghus is not there. And this is when, Serwa begins to kind of rebuttal back with some pretty heavy shit where she's like, only an Anasarimber can see the apocalypse, so only an Anasarimber can see how murder saves, how cruelty shelters, even though it can only be grasped as evil within the human span. She says sacrifices that boggle the heart are paltry to us, simply because we can see the dead stacked about us all, the dead that we will become if we do not make the proper sacrifices. Moenghus was broken at Ishtarenbith, and Serwa knows this, so she does know bringing her brother home to her father is either a death sentence for him, or he's going to be locked up in chains for the rest of his life. Not really a good look. And I do think that Serwa cares about Moenghus. So this is a sticky situation, and I think that she leaves him behind to save him. Now, like I said earlier, this is that thing I want to get into that's kind of up in the air, and I think it's probably up to interpretation, or maybe it's not, and I'm just completely getting it wrong. Like I said, maybe I'm trying to make Serwa a little bit more, nice and beautiful and better than she really is. But either way, I think that this needs to be taken into account because this is the information she's giving Sorewheel. Like, look, murder saves, but you won't be able to see this the way that I see it because I'm an Anasarimber, and it's this whole fucking Dunyan logic shit. It's, for me, I think personally, she knew Moenghus was fucked, and the only way to save him was by stranding his ass with the Skilvendi. Will he die? Shit, she doesn't know, but either way, it's still better than bringing him back to father. Now, this is also when Sorewheel and Serwa are approaching the ordeal, and it's fucked up. The men are crazy, bonkers, mad, and there's dead people. There are people impaled on dicks. What the fuck? I love the part where they come across Kallias and Proyus and they're fucking gone. They're fucking madmen, and Proyus is eating Sebawool, and she approaches him and he's like, should I eat him? The sights of the fields appalling are very disturbing, but we get to see that they are very, very disturbing to our character Sorewheel. This shit is fucking him up. But this is where Sorewheel finds Zaranga, and this is some level of comfort to him, even though the things that Zaranga is telling him are just really hard to believe. And Zaranga, like this part I actually like too, because Zaranga is even telling Sorewheel that Shrank tastes like fish, and he's ashamed of it. So I guess they don't taste like slippery chicken. I guess they taste like fish. Now, this reunion between these two characters is pretty heavy and it's deep, but Zaranga reminds Sorewheel that he is the Narendra assassin, that Sorewheel is to play the part of the White Luck warrior. Now, from here, this might shock some people because we see Sorewheel and Zaranga sleeping together. And this is kind of where I feel Sorewheel's thread, or at least his perspective, does start to get a little kooky. I remember reading this and being like, damn, after the Great Ordeal, like, I'm really fucking getting this one. Like, thank God it's not so crazy wackadoo bonkers. And then we get to this shit, and I'm like, no, goddammit, I can't understand it. But then I started to kind of pick it up. Sometimes I have to read some of this shit a couple times to really let it sink in. But Zaranga and Sorewheel are now, like in this moment, they're lovers. And I kind of do like how this fleshes out. I mean, because you got Sorewheel, who is still the Ameolus is not on him, but the time being fused with a non-man has certainly changed his life personally. So we're like, he is a different person. But I love the stuff from Zaranga, because this is like where we start to get hit with some of like Zeumi culture, where it's not such a strange thing for, you know, a band of brothers, men at arms, to sleep with one another. Now, this is also when we begin to start getting hit with those like moments of shame from the men of the ordeal and all the stuff that they have just done. They begin to pack up camp and push forward towards Golgotharoth. And this is where we get that little bit where Sorewheel is really kind of like putting eyes on the horns in the distance. And the men of the ordeal begin to cry, because this is where humanity at its most brutal has come to war for the future of their race. Now we pop over to Moenghus, who is alive and now in the custody of Skilvendi. But this is an amazing moment, considering we finally get to see young Moenghus reunited with his real father and his somewhat surrogate mother. You know, it's Serwa, but she's a skin spy. Moenghus remains a prisoner, and he has these conversations with his father, which really just open up and end in argument, and Nair beats him. And then we kind of get that little conversation with the skin spy and Moenghus, which is really dark and delicious as well, because we see where Nair possibly will not kill Moenghus, only to deny the consult. Man, my boy Nair is just a motherfucker, right? He doesn't want to give anybody an inch because he knows they'll take a mile. But he's definitely a dickhead in this one. Now we go back to the Great Ordeal, and Proyus is actually getting like these voices. He's like actually kind of visualizing Kellis, or hearing him congratulate him on getting the men to Golgotharoth through, you know, leading them through this impossible journey and succeeding. At the same time, we're getting that little glimpse of Soroyan, who is making like this little solo trick out towards the gate, planting a flag and calling out the Shrank. Like, he's like, fucking bring us your skinnies. And this is an epic moment. This is stuff that like Tolkien was really good at. It's just these little moments that you could kind of blink and miss them, but if you read it and it hits you, it's epic in all fucking ways, man, and you'll never forget it. Now, during this, though, Proyus is remembering the teachings of his father and how power will bring forward only damnation. Now, Proyus calls a meeting under the Umbilicus, and, you know, lords of the ordeal are starting to usher in one after the other. And I really like this part. And it says, like, in the meeting, this is where the madness of the meat begins to lift from the men of the ordeal, but not the memories. So these guys are kind of coming out of it and becoming a little bit more sane. At least they're seeing clearer, but yet they are haunted by the memories of raping and killing and just, you know, rutting and acting like Shrank. This is also one of those crazy deals, because they're also starting to kind of understand the price they've paid to reach Golgotharoth. The men of the ordeal have paid with damnation to reach the porch of this place. I mean, it is fucking nuts. Also during this, Proyus sees Sorewheel and Serwa, and he can see that like love connection between the two of them. He gets that kind of heartbreaking thought, right? Where he's looking at them and he sees the love, and he just realizes that love is the thing that he is going to miss the most. Now, Proyus is having this whole speech with the men of the ordeal where he wants them to take their horror and transform it into righteousness. And this is also where we get Kellis shows up, and so now we have Kellis, who's trying to celebrate with his ordeal, but yet all the men can barely even look at him. They are filled to the brim with shame. And so his question is, what did you do? And Proyus is kind of stumbling over his own. He's like, I did as you charged. I fed them. And this is a fucked up part, because this is when Kellis just kind of looks at him, right? And he's like, tell me, how long have you worked for the consult? And Proyus realizes this has been Kellis's plan all along. And guys, fuck, I have never fumed more reading a book than in this moment. I fucking love the character of Proyus. So this was extremely egregious and just a violation in a way that hit me on a personal level. I was fucking fuming. Smoke coming out of my fucking ears. I hated Kellis for this. This, like I said earlier, like breaking my heart with the Sebawool Proyus scene, this was something together all different. You might be fucking, I might not have to say anymore because you might be just seeing my face. Like this, I was disgusted. I felt betrayed myself. I wanted to throw the fucking book. Not because I don't like the book. It just, that's how angry I am. I just like, it's like rage quitting in a video game almost in this moment. And you guys, I'm trying to explain this to people because it's like, you got to understand, I really love Proyus' character. I think this is something that has built within me throughout this journey. I didn't like Proyus necessarily in book 1. I think I started warming up in 2, and by 3, I really loved the character. So now we're all the way here, guys. And the thing that makes me love Proyus is like, it's that struggle. You always hear me talk about that struggle and Proyus trying to be pious and be faithful. Well, why? Because the guy is scared to death of damnation. This is one of the facts that made him leave Akamian and join up. He left fucking sorcery for faith. A lot of that has to do with his fear of damnation. We get those little fucking flashbacks of him talking to Achamian, asking him, aren't you scared of damnation? So it's been rammed home to us throughout all these books that Proyus is a man who struggles with faith because he is afraid of his eternity in damnation and hellfire and all that. So what is so fucked up and sinister, as well as really well done, is this journey of Proyus, a man scared of damnation, yet put in a position to carve out his own damnation to perfection. Do you get the sick and twisted fucking shit that I just said? Kellis! So it's in this heartbreaking fucking moment that Kellis essentially calls Proyus a traitor. He's a double agent. He's working for the consult. The men of the ordeal don't waste any time apprehending him. And so now Proyus is a fucking prisoner to his own men under the whole design of Kellis. And like I said, I'm just fucking seething in these moments. But that's not all, because then we see also that Kellis has even further plans. He's going to use others as well to just kind of push this thing forward just that little extra inch. So we see Zaranga basically being pulled out, and he's brought to the accusatory, the wall, and he's hung from it in front of everybody. And because he's basically saying, because of the actions of Malawibi, Zeumi is a traitor, and now Zaranga is the one paying for it. So he is dropped to his death from the wall in front of everybody. And Kellis even tells like his generals as well. He's like, if anybody is crying, the weepers, you will cut their throats. And not just cut their throats, drink their blood. Fucking Jesus Christ! Sweet Sejanus. Now we begin to get that perspective of Malawibi's, and man, I gotta say, guys, I love this fucking severed head perspective and the fucking curse Lacaro shit. I know that some people have expressed that they didn't like that, but I found it fucking hilarious. And who says the baker can't tell jokes? Curse Lacaro. Malawibi sees Zaranga's body swinging from the accusatory, and it's at the same time that he puts eyes on Golgotharoth, on the horns and everything, and Malawibi has that realization that the Aspect Emperor has spoken true. There lies the enemy. Then we kind of get that little bit of Akamian and Mymara as they're kind of approaching out of the mountains and into the ordeal. And then we go back to Proyus and Kellis, where Proyus has been pulled up and he's hanging by, well, like Kellis has Proyus hanging, like he's going to drop him from the fucking wall, and they begin this little conversation, which is just even that much more heartbreaking. Where Proyus is even asking him, he's like, why are you showing me this? And Kellis's answer is, I don't know. The darkness that comes before is like controlling me, and it's controlling me more in this place. And Proyus is just like, man, what? You had me do this? And Kellis says, yes, to accomplish the impossible, you had to do the unthinkable. To bring this like host of men so far through such treacherous land is a miracle, Proyus. And then he tells him, he's like, I needed you weak. This is why I broke you down, because if you were strong, you would have found any other way around this. I needed you weak so you would make this decision. And Proyus is even beginning to kind of argue with him. He's like, all you had to do is just tell me. I would have done it. You command and I go. And Kellis kind of is like, man, this is the folly of man, to think that you know all your decisions, past, present, and future. And then Proyus is like, I can see farther than you fathom, Why do you denounce me? And Kellis tells him, because your life will be worth millions. And Proyus asks, how? By mending the hearts of the men and helping them fight in only a way that redeemed men can do. And Proyus asks him, so am I saved? Or did I just damn myself? And Kellis's reply is funny and heartbreaking and a lot and all, because he just goes, I'm not a prophet. Proyus is like desperate. He's just like, why don't you just lie to me and tell me I'll be saved? And Kellis replies, all I have left is truth. The darkness all but owns me here. The darkness that comes before. This is one of the most heartbreaking lines in the fucking whole book. When Proyus tells Kellis, so these are to be my wages then? Betrayal and damnation? And he tells him, he's like, just kill me, Kellis. And Kellis is like quiet, but then he tells him, he's like, no world holds torment like the one that you're about to see. Like, this is so fucked up. And Proyus is just like, let it be done. Tell me the truth so I can condemn you. And Kellis tells him, but you know my truth as well as my lie. I have come to save the world. And Proyus says, and that is why the gods themselves hunt you. And Kellis drops Proyus. We know this doesn't kill Proyus, but this is the beginning of a very horrible end for our brother in arms. Popping back to Sorewheel, he's actually putting eyes on Zaranga's body as it swings from the accusatory, and this flushes him with just a whole bunch of different emotions. We know that since he's had the Ameolus on, he's kind of become a changed person, and this watching Zaranga not only personally to him hits in a horrible spot, but it also makes him think of Mumorn, and this is the non-man that Umbilicus was connected to, his lover. So it's all this stuff kind of going on, and Sorewheel is just like fucking cursing, and then he hears a schoolman who he thinks is Escalise, but it's not Escalise. We know it's Akamian, and Akamian's like telling him, oh, don't worry, the Aspect Emperor's judgment is coming. And Sorewheel is just like, who the fuck are you? And whose judgment? Then we pick up with Mymara, and we understand that Mymara and Akamian have been separated. And here is Mymara walking through the ordeal, and her judging eye is open, and it's like sensory overload. It is too goddamn much, because she is staring at just a sea of men that are all damned. But this is also what helps her kind of start to understand that power that much more, and which really helps her understand herself, that she is the true prophet. And then we pop over to Akamian, and this is another fucking heart-wrenching scene, personally for me, when he puts eyes on Proyus. And he says that. He's like, Proscia, my boy. Like, dudes, this shit made me cry. A little fucking chunk of my soul rattled loose in my body and came out of my fucking tear ducts, okay? It was fucking sad. Now, this is also where we understand that Kelmomas and Esmenet have also arrived here with the Great Ordeal, and they have been stowed away in the Umbilicus. And then we cut back to Mymara, who is putting the judging eye on the Ark. And I love we get that description. It's like the cold alien malice that she feels while putting eyes on this thing. And then we hear from the background her name, and it's just like, it is you. And boop, then we pop over to Akamian, who runs into Zacharias, and this is actually pretty cool because Akamian doesn't know Zacharias, but he actually knows of Zacharias, and Zacharias obviously knows Akamian because he's the fucking traitor of his school. Like, Akamian's like public enemy number one in some ways, but it is funny because Akamian essentially has been out of the game for 20 years, but as soon as he's like front to front with somebody from the school, it's like Janan just kicking in, and he's got, words to fucking use. And he begins to ask Escalise, though, why is Proyus condemned to die? And Escalise says, well, how do you think so many journeyed so far? And Akamian says, well, walked? And Escalise says, well, pray tell, what nourished your steps? And Akamian begins to realize the doom that they have all just walked into. And then we do some more little quick popping around. We pop back to Mymara, and she's being cleaned. Then we pop back to Sorewheel, and Serwa is like sneaking into his tent. And they talk about Zaranga, and they kind of argue and stuff. And there's still this thing, like Serwa is looking at him, and she sees that face that the mother has painted all over it. So it's just, this is one of those things. It's starting to drive Serwa kind of insane. And we are also beginning to understand, it's like, dudes, like, Serwa definitely has feelings for Sorewheel. So this whole thing is kind of fucking with her head. As much as his head's a mess, it's all a mess. Now, when Serwa, like, storms out of his tent, this is where it got real fucking weird for me, because we get these kind of, like, visions, and it's like Kellis, and he's being salted, and you're like, what the fuck? I read this shit like 10 times over and over and over and over. I was like, what the fuck is going on? How is, what, huh? And eventually I just gave up. I bent the knee and said, fuck it. I'm not exactly sure. I'll just push forward and find out. And that's what I ultimately I found out. But I realized, man, this is where my boy Sorewheel's thread starts to get a little funky. It's not so goddamn straightforward. And now looking back, after kind of going back and hashing some of this stuff over again, I realize this is also beginning to, like, Sorewheel is really starting to become the White Luck warrior, right? And it's just, so we're not really getting a perspective of Sorewheel anymore. We're getting this, like, kind of a possessed being of the gods perspective, and it is confusing. Then we pop back to Akamian and Escalis, and I really like this part because it's like, Escalis is kind of like telling Akamian that he's, like, pushing his fucking luck. And he's like, do you even realize, like, why I even, like, fathom you right now? Like, why I'm even putting up with your shit? And I like that Akamian's like, not actually sure. He's just, like, says this little thing that it's kind of like a running joke, and he's just like, because I always lose at... What's that fucking game? God damn it. Benjuka. He's like, because I always lose at Benjuka? But no, it's not because he always loses at Benjuka. It's because of Esmenet. And this is where we come to find out. The only reason why Achamian was let to live was because of Esmenet. Esmenet is Kellis's blind spot, and that just kind of trickled down into Achamian's survival. Now, this is also where Achamian realizes the men of the ordeal have come so far that it will not matter what judgment Mymara's judging eye heaps upon Kellis. It's not going to matter. They are bought and sold into this ordeal. Then we cut back to Esmenet and Mymara, and they're talking, kind of fleshing everything out. Like, Esmenet is learning of this whole journey. She's learning of, whose baby is inside her daughter's stomach and all this shit. I mean, they're just fleshing out a lot of past transgressions and just like all kinds of stuff. It's a pretty heavy moment between mother and daughter. It doesn't exactly go well, and you have like this like fleeing moment. But what happens is then you get Akamian, Mymara, and Esmenet kind of all in the same spot, right? And that's a touching moment. Okay, so day 2 of the Unholy Consult Diaries here. Are you sure you see the wardrobe change? Guys, these take a long time for me to do, so let's get into it. Okay, so we're picking back up with Akamian, Mymara, and Esmenet, and they're basically having this conversation about saving Proyus, because Akamian is super just beat up and destroyed about all this that has happened. Now, Esmenet tells him that there's no way that they could pull this off without her help, and I love that little line that she drops, that her husband, or that she's the only traitor that her husband has endured. So like that's just a great line. But we see when Achamian whips out the sorceress lens and they check on Proyus that this begins to pop up other questions, and the conversation kind of goes in a couple directions. We see that there are the Swayali witches there, so not only will it take Achamian and Esmenet, it's also going to take Mymara here as well. But then they also notice that Proyus is like strung up kind of different. Like, he's not tied together necessarily for death. Like, the manner that he is strung up, he will survive. And they're kind of mulling over why. Like, is it because he wanted to leave Proyus alive? Like, is this a mercy thing? Or is this like a torture thing? And then also we get that little bit like where they start to kind of maybe understand that this could be a whole ploy just to pull them away from the ordeal. And that's when Esmenet gives them that little bit about Kellis having that meeting under the Umbilicus where all the lords will come, and he's kind of like ordaining them or whatever. before they're pushed towards Golgotharoth. And Akamian and Mymara are just looking at each other like, oh shit. Now this is also where we have seen Kelmomas has escaped the Umbilicus. He runs into his father, and his father basically puts him with his brother and his sister. And we start to get the conversation between Serwa and Kelmomas, where Serwa asks him if he's really guilty of all the people that supposedly he is to blame for their deaths. And, that back and forth is kick-ass. I love the fact when she goes, "We are all cracked plates, brother. Your madness is love, and mother is forever beyond you now." Now, at the same time as well, we have, like, the reunion of Sorewheel and Escalis, and this is just fucking crazy, like an LSD trip. It was tough to keep, like, track. What the fuck is going on? And now, after finishing, like I said, I know now what the hell was going on, but in the moment it was really confusing, and you're getting like the future, you're getting like these glimpses of what's gonna happen, not necessarily what's happening right now, real time kind of thing. Like I said, it gets a little confusing. Then we get the little bit where Kelmomas is watching his father basically stoke the fires within the men of the ordeal, and he, like, these believers are just kind of trampling over one another to kneel at Kellis's feet and, like, cleanse themselves. Like, he tells them, like, use his hands, like, as their basin. And during this, though, Kelmomas notices a non-believer, and he's kind of doing this thing where he's trying to keep track of him. He's trying to keep an eye on his mom, and it's a lot of chaos is kind of happening because you have these, like, fanatical men just trampling over one another trying to get to their prophet. But then we understand that the non-believer that Kelmomas sees is Sorewheel, and this whole thing is just like you're getting like switching of the perspectives, and it was kind of confusing to me because there's this line where Kelmomas sees the unbeliever, and then he says like, "Oh, Father knows the unbeliever's here. He humors him." So I was kind of confused in this moment, and I was like, wait, Kellis knows the White Luck Warrior's coming for him? So this is just like a weird setup? And like Sorewheel doesn't even know he's like probably coming to his death? Well, that's not exactly what played out, but Sorewheel was going to his death. And we see Kelmomas spring onto the back of Sorewheel, stabbing his ass with the knife, and what we thought might have happened does not happen. And this is obviously a huge disappointment to the gods. Once again, they have been thwarted where they would have succeeded. Now, also during this commotion, Mymara is making her way through this crowd towards Kellis, and she tries to put the judging eye on him. But we see when she tries, it does not work. And this is this is frustrating. You're like, oh, god damn it, and Kellis sees what Mymara is kind of up to, and he fucking vanishes. I should mention that he's got Kelmomas kicking and screaming in his arm when he does vanish. And the chapter's ending with like that perspective of Sorewheel. He's dying, and he can hear in the distance, "Breathe, Horse King, breathe." So now during all the commotion, Mymara begins to give birth, or at least she goes into labor. And so now we're here with Esmenet, Akamian, and Mymara, and Mymara's giving birth, and Akamian's kind of like, he's not being the best support, let's just put it that way. And he leaves the tent or whatever to go outside, catch some air kind of deal, and he sees the horns of Golgotharoth, and he begins to ponder. And during this little ponder sesh, who does he see? Kellis. And, man, this has been a long time coming for him, for Achamian, but also for us, the reader, right? So it is, I love the part where when Achamian sees Kellis, it says that his jaw drops. So you could have pictured this, he's out there fucking, oh, god damn it, I'm having a kid. Oh, these fucking horns, look at these sinister, oh, killer? I don't know, but the thing is, this is, like I said, a big build-up. So here we have Akamian, jaw dropped. The Aspect Emperor makes his entrance. And I have to say, after everything that goes down, I do feel it's a little like, meh. Like, I was like, for 20 fucking years and all the shit that's gone between them two? But I guess they're, Akamian might be just awestruck. And Kellis is definitely a much different Kellis than he left, than that he last saw. Even, he's still Dune Yane and everything, but I don't know, I'm getting way off fucking track here. The thing is, they get into this little bit of conversation. Kellis immediately goes into talking about how he knows that Akamian shared his dream with Zacharias, and he's like, whoa, do you care to share it with me? And Akamian's like, no. And Kellis understands. He's like, yes, you still harbor the hatred, right? And this little back and forth opens up information where we find out that Kellis learns that Naur is still alive. It's also in this part where they kind of go in and they're like putting eyes on the ladies, and there's this little deal between like Esmenet and Kellis. Akamian can see now that Esmenet fucking hates Kellis. Esmenet starts to kind of question Kellis right there, like where their son is, because he disappeared with Kelmomas, and now he has to tell Esmenet that, well, he's chained up for killing Sorewheel, the Believer King. This makes Esmenet, super pissed off. She already hates the guy, so she storms out. And Akamian's kind of in this moment, too, remembering what the Dunyain do to their women from what we saw back in Ishwal. It's also in this is like where Kellis claims to be the biggest tyrant ever, and Akamian realizes he's a madman. Then we get the part where Esmenet finds Kelmomas, and it's kind of a little fucked up deal, because she's always been mom, regardless of how horrible her little monster is. But we kind of see that she showed up because that is her lot as a mother, but she's also like at her breaking point. She even tells Kelmomas, I am your mother, but you are no one's child. And before she leaves, she kind of leaves like a pity gift, I guess, for him by throwing a file down on the floor next to him and his chains. Then we see Kelmomas makes his escape, and he kills a Skilvendi when he's making a escape. And this is like where we're starting to understand the Skilvendi have entered the whole deal here. They're here, and you can only imagine that the Skilvendi are here. That means Naur is here, and Moenghus, and just, ooh, we got everybody here at the same time. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself, so Kelmomas kills this Skilvendi, but then the skin spy starts to talk to him and kind of convinces him and coaxes him to come with her. And at the end of this chapter, we're getting that glimpse of the men of the ordeal as they are preparing themselves for battle against Golgotharoth. And so they advance west, and the end of the world begins. Oh, yes. And I love the description of Golgotharoth to the men of the ordeal. Like, they're putting eyes on all these alien symbols. And Kellis comes out and he's like, which one of my believer kings will offer the enemy their terms? And the Thunyeri believer king, Vukielt, steps forward. With his grandfather's shield on his back, he really does make this scene. Like, he's calling out the consult. And he's really talking shit, right? He's just like, we mock you! We laugh at you! Open your gates! And the men of the ordeal are laughing, but the enemy makes no answer. And as Vukielt is starting to make his way back to the men of the ordeal, a lone Shrank pops up, screams something in Shrank talk. I don't speak Shrank, so I don't know what the fuck he said. But he jumped up and throws this spear, and it hits Vukielt, but it hits him in his grandfather's shield that he's wearing on his back. So he is safe, but he's knocked down, and he gets back up and just immediately starts talking shit again. Is that a yes or a no? And the men begin to laugh and cheer again. But this is when the Shrank all of a sudden just like rockets up skyward and is thrown at them, and they see the evil non-man, Sintingira, I believe is his name, but even more important, Makara-Trig. And this is like where we find out that it's the same guy, right? And guys, I've been waiting for this one since I started these fucking books, because Makara-Trig, like in the Thousandfold Thought, like dream is where I got his name, and he really haunted me as a non-man. But the other non-man that really haunted me was that one from the prologue. So here I am getting that little bit of information that I kind of assumed already. Same fucking non-man. All right, let's go. He sees Kellis and he's like, do you recall me, man traitor? During this little back and forth, all of a sudden arrows start shooting from the ramparts, but yet Kellis is not there for them to meet their target. This is when Sintingira, Makara-Trig, looks skyward and sees Sifrang coming down, and the men of the ordeal are fucking awestruck. Can you imagine, guys? You got the fucking crazy, horrible, nasty non-man in front of you, and fucking demons coming out of the sky? Woo! Fuck! But this is when the men of the ordeal reply with horns of their own. The Kore attacks are answered by sorcerers and witches. This is literally one of the most, dominant displays of like offensive magic. This is when we start to pop around with a lot of perspectives. So we get that little one with the Skilvendi, we pop around, we start getting this one with the Sifring, the demons and their slaver. And this was probably the most confusing part of this whole deal for me. Then we get that part with Akamian, Esmenet, and Mymara is still giving birth, and Akamian leaves. Then we cut to schoolmen fighting Urshrank, and they cast down the extrinsic gate. It's just smoking ruin upon the belly of Golgotharoth. The men of the ordeal charge Golgotharoth. They begin seizing gates and walls and clearing the grounds. And during this time, some of their bowmen begin to recover Kore that are on the ground, and it talks about them like bending down and like going to work harder than they've ever done in their entire lives. But the part I love is that it's like they would be the only ones unscathed. Then we pop over to Serwa, and she's taken on the first riser and begins to sense Kore below her. And these are Bashrag bearing Kore. Bashrag begin to just erupt out, and they are just mowing through ordeal men like fucking children. And this is when Serwa realizes that Golgotharoth has not lost its walls, it's given them. Then we pop over to Mymara and Esmenet, and they're doing this mother-daughter thing. And I love, though, like, Mymara's kind of gone into this, like, prophet mode, and she's, like, forgiving her mother and all this, and, like, the way that she's talking to her, I love, like, Esmenet's like, you sound like him, talking, like, meaning Kellis, and Mymara replies, like, that's because he pretends to be who I am. Then we cut back to the men of the ordeal, fighting the Bashrags, and there's volleys of arrows, but they're still just being stamped out like nothing. Some of them are getting flung in the air like fucking ragdolls. Serwa understands this whole deal that's going down, and she orders a retreat, which is sad for some of these ordeal men because this is when death came swirling down. The men of the ordeal are starting to get their asses handed to them, and they're calling out for their aspect emperor. Then we pop back to Esmenet and Mymara, and Esmenet hears something, and she takes the knife chipmunk, and she's like trying to check it out, and she finds Akamian, and he has saved Proyus. He has Proyus's body, and he's still alive. And this part is just heartbreaking. I know I've probably said heartbreaking a million times, but it is. It's fucking heartbreaking. When you get Proyus, and he's like looking up at Akamian, and he's like, you were right all along. And Akamian tells him, no, I was wrong all along, my boy. But during their conversation, Proyus, he like stops, and he says, look. And Esmenet sees it. It's the fucking horde. Fuck! Shrank, flooding over each other in cataracts. The ground breaches geysers, and sand is flinging into the air, and Shrank are fucking flying, because guess what? Kellis is here. Then we pop over to the Vile Angel perspective, and once again, I was a bit confused, but it is really fucking gross. Talking about, like, gelatinous innards, and this or that. It was... Bakker's gross prose was on display and hitting home runs, all right? I was grossed out just in these little blips, you know? And it's funny because I'm like going from complete death, murder / mayhem into this, and I'm like, oh, but that's gross. But it's in this perspective that we lay eyes on a golden wall, the intrinsic gate. Then we pop over to Serwa, and she's like figuring out this trap, but then she sees these fucking non-men, and it turns into a sorceress showdown of the ages. Kore bowmen are just fucking unleashing arrows at the non-man erratics, and Serwa and the schoolmen and the witches are just fucking unleashing all their sorceress might. This whole scene is nothing but salted pillars and fucking killing lights. Then we start to see these men of the ordeal are fighting these pitched battles, and the Bashrag are just coming in one after the other. But Serwa and the schoolmen are just trying to blast their way through the fucking enemy. She's just basically at this point trying to throw down firepower at a rapid rate and buy some time. Then we cut over to Kellis, the Aspect Emperor, and he's just fucking trying to put the Guinness Book of World Record for Shrank kills on the board, because we just see him fucking destroying them, dude, by like fucking hundreds a second. I love this part where it says he's singing hymns that only septic masses could understand. You got fucking Shrank just piling in on the Aspect Emperor, and he's destroying them fucking like at a rapid rate, but at the same time, they're still making ground on him, and their skulls are fucking imploding, caving in. It's just the coolest kind of magical destruction, but eventually, they fucking just pile up over him. Then we cut back to Proyus, and this is where we get that little conversation between him and Nair, because Nair shows up, and goddamn, you know, honestly, I kind of wish that Proyus just would have died in Akamian's arms. But I guess we wouldn't have got this little back and forth, but still, I kind of wish he would have died in Akamian's arms. But they begin to talk, right? And Proyus, like, is even telling Naor, he's like, I asked him. He's like, asked him what? He's like, how you died. And Naor's like, well, what did he say? And Proyus says, with glory. Naor looks at him, he's like, he did this to you? Proyus just, he answers, he's like, yes. This is when Naor spits, and he's just like, I was never such a fool as you. We see this little back and forth play out between Naor, and it's not exactly, like I said, I wish he would have died in fucking Achamian's arms, because it's a weird little conversation. Naor obviously respects Proyus, and Proyus respects Naor. Like, that's one of the things that I really enjoyed, like in the Warrior Prophet, watching them kind of play off of each other. So there's this moment where you got, like, Naor, he respects Proyus, but I don't know how much Naor is really affected right now by a Jokely, though, either. So it's weird. I don't know if, like, this is it, right? Is that respect out of Naor's to burn your homeboy alive? Because we see he sets the Umbilicus on fire to burn Proyus alive. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, God damn it, how many fucking times do you got to break my heart over this one character, Mr. Bakker? He's fucking good at it, man. Ugh. Anyway, we see that Moenghus saves Proyus from a fiery death. And I didn't catch this really, like, the first time through, so I thought Proyus was still alive. When I went back and read several chapters, I saw this little part that says Moenghus suffocates Proyus. So it's like a mercy killing. But I'm kind of like, what the fuck? Why didn't you have him die in his arms? Because now it's like, just for this conversation so that he could almost be burned alive and then smothered by his fucking nephew. I guess it's all about heartbreak, right? But this is when we see Moenghus confront Naor, and he's like, you would kill him? You would kill the man that saved your life 20 years ago. And there's that back and forth between Naor and Moenghus, and he tries to put him in his place. And then also he's dealing with the Serwa skin spy, where we see that she's like, look, you need to act now. You've given an oath. And Naor puts his little, like, I've been beating you for this reason and that. He's like, you will wait. He ultimately ends up killing the skin spy in front of everyone, in the Skilvendi are cheering. And this is like, while they're cheering, Naor grabs Moenghus and he's like, if you ever leave my side again, I will take off your limbs. Like, Dad of the Year award. Then we cut back to Serwa and the schoolmen, and they're making their ascent up the fucking riser, and this part is so dope because we get the technique in action. We see a crimson light shoot across the sky, and it's sparkling and dazzling, but it holds no sorceress mark. And they begin to put two and two together, and they realize it's the fucking Heron spear. It's not really the Heron spear, but they're like, oh, it's the Heron spear. And Serwa is like counting the pulses, and like each pulse we see another schoolman or witch burning and falling, and it's fucking like, you're like, oh shit. And Serwa's doing acrobatics from all holy hell. Like, she's really putting like the fucking her like physical prowess on display in this book, and she's jumping, ducking, diving and dodging and shit. She misses the one beam by getting behind the shieldman and everything. And then we see she does that like gigantic fucking leap, and she's calling for her father as well. And then when she's like does this big ass leap, she can see across the scab. She can see the Skilvendi, she can see the horde, she can see all this shit. She calls out for her father again, and she lands just in time for the 13th pulse to hit her. Woo! Man, this fucking scene, like the sequence is so good. And I didn't know that she had lived yet, right? I'm just like, this scene, this part where she lands and gets hit by the beam is burnt into my fucking brain as one of my favorite little fucking like fantasy moments. Then we pop over to Kellis and we see him, he's destroying the fuck out of Shrank. We pop over to the Vile Angels, and they seem to be fucking over the slaver, who I believe is Iacus. So they're like kind of they're here in this massive topoi, right? Like Golgotharoth is just like basically being in hell. So I feel like their power is ramped up enough to where they can deny their master. And we see that happen. And I don't really know what happens there. I just know that they deny him. Then we cut back to the riser and we get Mershoa. And I love this guy. And he's watching the schoolmen burning and falling from the sky from these beams. He cries to his kin kinsmen to rush forward through the maw of arrows. This is when they come across more men fighting Urshrank, and I love this. It's like, we hide behind sorcerers no more, and they leave the schoolmen to burn by the unseen spearmen. And that's another thing, too. When I said the unseen spearmen, at this point, I thought there wasn't a non-man controlling it. I just thought it was like a fucking turret. Then Kellis shows up, and he fucking takes a spear beam, right? But we see it doesn't fucking kill him. But this little scene is awesome because it's just like his wards are crackling and shattering and all that. We got the fucking, like, the underneath him is all black and boiling. And the Great Ordeal cries out in terror. But Kellis disappears, and he, like, reappears above the non-man and fucks him up and casts the unseen spearmen down. This is when the men of the ordeal are just cheering. They're like, yeah! Then we pop over to Mymara and Akamian and Esmenet as they're kind of like, they're running, and they see the fucking spear beams in the sky. And this is how we know it's not the Heron spear, because they're like, oh, it's the Heron spear. And Akamian's like, no, it can't be. It's not the right color. And he would know because he dreams about this shit all the fucking time. Then we cut back to Kellis, and he's picked up the spear and he casts it at the other horn. And this is fucking nuts, right? You're just like, Aspect Emperor fucking shoot laser beams at one of the fucking horns of Golgotharoth. Woo! We see it doesn't destroy the horn, but it like shudders. And Kellis just keeps casting the spear at the horn. Then eventually the fucking horn topples over and crashes down to the ground, and it just all its destructive glory. It's smashing fucking Shrank. It's like the impact makes blood pop out of men's noses, and the fucking ground just quakes, and the Shrank are actually quiet. Now debris is fucking falling down everywhere, and the ordeal men are just cheering and just, you know, they're throwing all the accolades at their Aspect Emperor as he stands upon the spearman's pedestal. So we're getting this scene where the ordeal men are just praising their Aspect Emperor, and Kellis is lifting up the spear in celebration. But right at that moment, granite is just exploding outward over him, and it's the fucking horde general, Orang the Inkoroi. And this guy is fucking darting all over the fucking place like a sparrow, comes at Kellis, and it's like they whoop, just teleport away, and the fucking spear falls. And I love this little line. It says it's got like it has like a cable attached to a metal coffer, or a rope attached to a metal coffer. So it's like a cord, like it plugs in. Gotta love electricity. Then we get the perspective of Akamian, Mymara, and they're watching the horn fall, and they're just watching it fucking destroy people. Then we get the little perspective of the Shriel Knights coming upon a burned woman, and we find out it's Serwa, and she's just all fucked up and singed, and it talks about how she's dressed in ulcers. She's looking like in Sebawool shape right now, but I fucking love this gal. And when she's like, they're like trying to like comfort her or whatever, she just gets up and she's like, fucking grab any goddamn soul that's breathing. She basically gives the command, don't let anything pass the fucking horn, and then flies off. And guys, this is when I was just like, I was like, man, I'm in love. Then we flash over to this whole different breed of Bashrag, the Inversi, and we're watching the ordeal men getting fucked up because these Bashrag have like non-man weapons attached to them. So they have like magical fucking weapons, and they're just slicing the fucking ordeal men up like they're a goddamn pizza pie. But then the schoolmen descend, wreaking sorcerous havoc, and this is all while the horn has been dropped. So like the fucking ground pops them up and their fucking slaps their feet. It's pure chaos. But the schoolmen begin to just blast their Gnostic light through all these halls and just destroy the Inversi. And this is how Mershoa comes across a magical sword, Hearth Slayer. This is when Mershoa and his men pursue the men pursuing the Urshrank, and all kinds of fucked up shit happens. He comes across a fucking non-man, and they get in this fight, and this is when we get to see Mershoa and his magical sword on display, and he ends up fucking just stabbing this non-man through the face after this fight. It's just fucking cool, man. At this point, you're really pumped up for Mershoa and his fucking sword. Then we pop over to Malawibi as he's watching Kellis hunt Orang, and he puts him in this like magic bubble and like spins him until his fucking arms and shit pop off. Then we pop back to the intrinsic gate, and here is Mershoa, and he can smell that fucking alien scents, and it's just all kinds of creepy and disturbing and just yes. Mershoa is creeped out, and I love this moment because he realizes when he got to the intrinsic gate, this is so good, and this is one of the many things I love about Bakker. We get this little like bit where it talks about Mershoa and how he, just was really brave and just charged in head first, not really thinking about anything else, much like most heroes do. But now he's here at the intrinsic gate, and he's like, ooh, maybe being first here wasn't such a good idea. Either way, Mershoa goes into like quoting scripture, because I guess it's like the one thing that's going to kind of make him feel comfortable in this oh shit your pants moment. Because of course, we got Raku, Scathula. Scathula just jumps out of nowhere and fucking breathes fire all over the fucking place. But Mershoa, we find, is protected with the sword. Hearthslayer protects him from Scathula's magical fire, and damn, now we're starting to think our boy really got some juice. And Mershoa's like, behold, righteousness! Only the wicked shall burn this day. This is when Scathula notices the sword in Mershoa's hand. And when Mershoa goes to keep spouting off, fucking Scathula reacts in the blink of an eye and just snaps his jaw over Mershoa. And this is like, what? What the fuck? Our mighty hero, now in the jaws of a deadly Raku, with only his feet and his sword hand flopping till they plop off and land on the ground. And Scathula goes scurrying back into the void. Then we pop back to Kellis and Malawibi, and they're getting ready to enter the Golden Room. And we get that little bit from Orang, and he's like, save me and not surrender. And Kellis tells him, he's like, hell has conquered you in every way. Then we pop over to Akamian, Mymara, and Esmenet, and we see that the Shrink Horde is upon them, and their fucking girls are trying to do their best killing them, and Akamian's killing Shrank after Shrank after Shrank, and he's looking at these women that he loves, and he realizes that dying in their arms is not such a bad way to go, because they're definitely going. And honestly, I thought that this might actually happen. I thought, fuck, this is probably the most touching way to end off these characters. If we're going nihilistic, like fucking at least give me a little bit of emotion there, all right? Like, so I thought they were gonna die, but this is not what happens. What happens is something I did not expect at all. A Nasarember Serwa comes to the fucking rescue. Jesus, girl, how much you want me to love you? And Serwa's just singing her Gnostic cants and fucking these Shrank up. And she looks at Akamian and she tells him, run! Then we cut back real quick to Kellis and Malawibi as they enter the Ark. Then we go back to Mymara and Esmenet, and Esmenet is helping Mymara along the way as they're running, and she's basically helping carry her over bodies and bodies and bodies as far as the eye can see. And then they do see that the ordeal men are completely surrounded by the horde in Golgotharoth. And then we cut over to this scene which I really enjoy, because we get the Shriel Knights who are saved by the Imperial sake. And now this is awesome, because we really do get to see a glimpse of past enemies helping one another. Like, that's what the ordeal should be about in some ways, right? It's like the unification war, like bringing them all together. But we are actually getting to see that. We're seeing old enemies act as brothers on the battlefield. And I could really appreciate this fucking moment. For a book that's so dark and dastardly, you really got to hang on to these little shining, glimpsing moments. Then we cut back to Vukiel, who he and his men are protecting the outside of the extrinsic gate. And they see Serwa off in the distance being attacked by all these Shrank, and he calls, your Empress needs your protection. They come to her aid, and it's kind of sad because these Hulka men have been badasses so far, and we find that only a few of them really survive. Like 100 of them survive this like coming to Serwa's aid. Then we cut back to Malawibi and Kellis as they're kind of approaching this bridge, and they see this crazy chair, and Makara is sitting in it. Then we pop back over to the intrinsic gate, and we're seeing schoolmen trying to enter. And I love this part because Zacharias is watching, and he's watching these lights just kind of blip out one at a time, and he knows he's losing schoolmen. And all of a sudden one starts running back at him with his fucking hand completely salted to the pith, and he's screaming Scathula, and it's Escalise. Oh, fuck. Then we go back to Mymara, and she's watching Serwa defend them and like save their lives, and she's like viewing her through the judging eye and like sees like such pity and everything. And this is when the bag of Kiri begins to change hands. Then we go back to Makara and Kellis and Malawibi, and we start getting hit with shit that we've probably been waiting this whole time to know. We get hit with a lot of good stuff here. I feel like there's a lot of questions still left out there, but damn, didn't we get some answers, guys? So when Makara is talking, he's talking about, he's like, before Syl, there was Ark. Before Syl led, Ark commanded. And you start kind of putting this stuff together, and it really clicked. And you know what's funny is, through this thing, so many different times I forget that fucking this place is a goddamn spaceship. You know, there's a lot of times I just keep forgetting and think of it just like as some enemy stronghold that, you know, resembles some place from hell. But no, it's a goddamn spaceship. And you start to understand what Makara is telling you is that before that first Inkoroi crawled out of the belly, that this fucking artificial intelligence, that the Ark itself was the one that commanded. We also get this little bit where it's like that the Inkoroi think that everything is a fucking machine, not unlike the Dunyain. And Makara is telling them that Syl is the one that fashioned this place. And Kellis, while this is all going on, he's kind of repeating what Makara says. And Malawibi's trying to figure this whole fucking thing out. Like, what's going on? What's your play here, Kellis? Are you testing him? And Makara tells Kellis about how Syl raised the inverse fire from the bowels of the Ark and brought it here. And then we get the story from Makara about back in the day when they went to go check out this fucking inverse fire, him and two other non-men, and when they touch it, like, it shows them their damnation, right? Which creates that goading thing, which is what basically how the consult goes out there and gets more people. They bring them back, they have them touch the inverse fire, and now they're so fucking consumed by this damnation thing, they're ready to jump on board and shut the fucking world off from everything. We see these three non-men touch the inverse fire, it fucks them up, they go back home, talk to Nilgeekus, and we see that Nilgeekus asks Makara, what the fuck are these guys rambling about? And Makara lies because he knows. He's like, how the fuck do you tell them that everything that we've done, all the lives lost, your wives, your children, everything was for naught? Because guess what? We're all damned. Makara is evil and crazy as he is, he knows that this is not the thing to do, so he lies, and he basically damns his non-men brothers. Then we cut back to the intrinsic gate, and we're with Caiutis, and he's trying to call out Scathula. He's like, Scathula, I will have parley with you. And Scathula shows up, and this is kind of great because he's just like kind of talking shit to Caiutis. They have their back and forth, and we see that Scathula doesn't give a shit, and he goes scurrying back into the void. We cut back to Makara and Kellis, and they're talking, and this whole deal plays out where we see fucking Kellis with the inverse fire, and it has no effect. And Makara is kind of like, what the fuck? Kellis is like, am I the first to resist the goad? And Makara just kind of like throws a hissy fit and sits back in his chair. And then a little later we hear 5 voices, and Makara jumps out of his chair, and Kellis puts a little like a magical noose around his neck. This is also where we're getting hit with the hologram scene, and Kellis like putting his hand through it, and Malawibi's like, what the fuck is going on? And I think that hologram thing is kind of like a little Easter egg for what's to come later on in the book, but for right now it's just another little piece of technique. We begin to see those larvals like popping out, and Makara is choking, and the 5 forms like just pop out. This is when we just start getting hit with shit, and we're like, what the fuck? Because Kellis obviously knows them. He's just like, how long did it take the consult to conquer, Ishwal? And they tell, like, they're computing the exact amount of days. And it's just like, fucking Kellis knows that the fucking consult are Dunyain. They're fucking Dunyain from Ishwal. He knew that when the fucking consult went after Ishwal, that the Dunyain that they captured would eventually capture the consult and take it over. And fuck, that's exactly what's going on. Then we pop back to the intrinsic gate, back with Caiutis, and Serwa shows up, and she's like, got fucking Kiri all over her and shit. And Caiutis is like, what's that? And she's like, medicine. Caiutis is like, what do you intend to do? And Serwa's like, save our father. Caiutis is like, no, sister, I forbid it. And she goes, who are you to gauge the compass of my power? You go, girl. See, I really liked Caiutis when this whole series started. I wanted more from him. But, now we're here at the end, and I realize I got what I needed from Caiutis. Caiutis is a dialogue character, and I got great dialogue out of him between him and Proyus. But right now, here he is, the dialogue character, getting told what the fuck is up by his sister, Serwa, because she, by all means, he needs to back the fuck up and let her go, because she got the juice, baby. We see Caiutis give his sister the Cinder Sword, Hearth Slayer. Obviously, he picked it up off the ground, probably out of Mershoa's dead hand. Then we cut back to Kellis and the Dune Salt, which is what everyone calls him. But yes, the Dunyain Consult, Kellis, and they're fucking arguing and fucking analyzing and doing what Dunyain will do to one another. Then we cut back to the intrinsic gate, and Serwa has made her entrance, right? And as soon as she's in here, she can fucking sense 99 core. So it's like now she's dealing with a dragon and 99 core. Girl, you got some balls on you. Let's go. Then we cut back to Kellis and the consult, and they're talking about souls and, the absolute and all this shit, and your mind is melting. Then we pop back to the ordeal, and Ishdarenbint has joined the battle, and we start seeing Shrank light up like fucking candles. Woo! Cut back to Serwa, who's just killing core bearers and dodging dragons. Then we cut back to Kellis talking to the consult, and I love this part where he's like, they're kind of going back and forth, and he's like, well, is this why you woo me? To put me in this fucking no-god thing that you're talking about? You think I'm just gonna willingly go into this deal? And I like this part too, because it kind of clarifies some stuff, because he's asking him, he's like, why the fuck don't you just use bombs like the one I found in Dagliash? Why don't you just use a bunch of them? And they were like, that's the only one that they have found. And even if they had, they just don't do the exact job that they needed to do. They're dangerous stuff. And Kellis is like, so I'm the missing piece? And the consult reminds him of the Kelmoman prophecy. Then we cut back to the battlefield, and Kuya mages are just fucking shit up, and Shrank are falling all over the place. But then all of a sudden they start to fall, and it looks like they're like separating on some weird kind of sorceress edge. Then we cut back to Serwa and Scathula, and they're kind of having some back and forth, and we all know how cringy Scathula's dialogue is, guys, but don't let it take away from our girl, especially when she gets that beautiful line coming back at his cringy ass, and she's just like, you would not like my songs, dirt snake. Now we shoot back to Kellis and the console, and we're kind of talking about this whole no-god deal, and we also come to realize that now Coyote is the one that was put in the first no god, and we kind of been hit with a lot of stuff to kind of allude to that notion along the way. All those little flashbacks of the dreams that Akamian had, where now Coyote was being tortured by Onrang, and that they were threatening with all this shit. So yes, we find out that now Coyote was the first no god, and there's some connection with these Anasarembers and getting these things to work. So the consult wants to stuff Kellis' ass in there, but Kellis, Kellis, he ain't want to do it, man. This is at the same time we see skin spies just starting to kind of come out of the dark, and they're all bearing core. We cut back to Serwa and Scathula, and they're battling, and Serwa is kind of just fucking making schoolwork out of this nasty dragon, and she kills the last fucking core bearer with a sorceress thunderclap. Then we cut back to Kellis, who is arguing with the console, and he's telling them, you forgot, I'm the master here. And he goes a jokely on us. He starts sprouting fucking horns, and we're all, trust me, I know you guys, no one Anybody see this shit coming? I didn't see this shit coming. I was like, what the fuck? He's got horns? We cut back to Serwa, and she's like, now, Caiutus! But all of a sudden we see, I didn't really understand this part, but all of a sudden, whoop, she loses a fucking hand by a Kore. We realize, there wasn't 99, there was 100! Fuck! She picks up her sword that's in her other hand, and fucking Scathula spits fire everywhere, and she just charges in. This fucking avalanche just starts crashing upon them, and they begin falling as she's screaming, Father! We cut back to Kellis, who's now telling the consult that you will be my brothers. You will be my avenging angels. One of these guys goes to protest, and Kellis just kills him. He, like, implodes him. He explodes. And it's so great because he's like, you will be my avenging angels. You will be my... And he splats. He's like, my 4 horns, because there was 5 of them. He looks at them, and he says, I alone, brothers, am the absolute. Now we go back to Akamian, who is just watching this battle with the non-men and the Shrank and the ordeal. And at the same time, he's realizing... he has a son. Then we see the horde crash into silence and flee. And this is also at the same time that the men of the ordeal see their aspect emperor up in the sky beginning to make his descent down to them. And he looks a little strange, like he's flickering, but it doesn't matter because everyone is so excited and they're cheering and they're crying and it's just, yes! Even Akamian looks upon Kellis and notices that he carries no sorceress mark, which this begins to make Akamian even kind of tear up because he's like, he has been cleansed. But Mymara knows there's something up, right? She's the one that pushes forward. Yeah, everyone's celebrating, but she smells something rotten in Denmark, and she goes towards the Aspect Emperor to put her eye on him. And I love this part. It's like Kellis is like, what ails you, daughter? Tell me. What do you see? And even Akamian catches that, and Mymara sees the sarcophagus. This is also when we jump back to Malawibi's perspective, and we see that Kellis is a pillar of salt. And this is another like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on, dude? Oh, this is kind of when I started to realize, you know, that the hologram, a lot of shit, it was, like I said, it's a lot coming at you. It's not rushed. It's just a lot. So if you're not able to chew on it at that moment, yes, you're probably going to have to go back and read some of this stuff like me. But god damn, what a whole twist. Then we cut back to Mog Farao, and everybody is shitting their pants and beginning to flee. Mymara begins to shovel Kiri into Akamian's face, and they're just like making a beeline for it. And I love this little line where he's like looking at her, and he's like, she is Seswatha. And then we get that great line. It's like a sorceress booming voice that's like, flee, sons of men. The second apocalypse is upon us. And we see Esmenet, Mymara, Akamian, and the baby just running. Now, this is also when we get a little bit of that past perspective, and we understand kind of what the fuck just went down with Kellis. During this whole little golden room engagement, while Kellis had been possessed by a Jokli and was basically throwing his dick around like the master of the universe, when Kelmomas enters the fray, it kind of like short circuits this whole little possession of Kellis's, from what I understand. So then Kellis is kind of popped back into reality, and he's like looking at his son, and he's a little confused. And all it takes is that one little moment for you to be confused and a skin spy to clap a Kore on your ankle, and guess what? Salt City. Salt City. This is also where we see the consult shove Kelmomas in the carapace. And this, I mean, come on, guys. I don't know how you feel, because it's like, yeah, you little fucker, as he's like, mommy. But at the same time, you're realizing it's not just his demise. You're also creating the big bad right now. So it's a weird conflict of feelings, because you're like, yeah, fuck you, Kelmomas. But then he's just like, he's just going to come back worse than ever. So you're like, oh shit, it's Kelmomas. Then we cut back to Nair, and he's talking to Moenghus. They're kind of doing this back and forth. And I love that Nair, he like looks at the Skilvendi, and he tells them that Moenghus is to be their new leader. And they all know who he is, Nair. So he's like threatening them. Like, if you don't listen to this guy when I'm gone, I'm going to come back and haunt you. And can you imagine being haunted by Ne'ur or Sciotha? That'd be the worst fucking haunting in the world, I'll tell you what. So I'm pretty sure these Skilvendi are going to listen to Moenghus from here on out. Then we see the men of the ordeal as they're reaching their camp, but it's burnt down, and they don't know what to do. Men are confused, and we get another one of those sorceress shouts that's just telling them to flee. Run for your lives. Run for the inclusion. Then we get this little past perspective of Ne'ur when he was a kid, and the whirlwind, and his father. And I love that little bit where it's like, well, Ne'ur is no longer that man, and this is not the same whirlwind. And while Ne'ur is walking down, this is one of those weird scenes. It kind of reminds me of Billy from Predator. I don't know if you guys watched that movie, but where he makes his stand against the Predator, but it's kind of weird because he just like drops his weapons, cuts his chest. It's like, I feel like you're being counterproductive in a defensive situation. But anyway, here we are with Ne'ur just shedding chunks of his clothing or armor or whatever. He goes in completely butt naked. In fact, there's this part where it talks about him cutting off his loincloth and I think it's like putting his manhood to the sting. And that stopped me for a sec because I was like, wait a minute, did Ne'ur just cut his dick off? I don't know, maybe you can answer that one for me, guys. Either way, it just gets crazier from here because we see Ne'ur sprout horns and spit fire on the Shrank. And I don't know if that's a literal fire or if he's just spouting out, obscenities. But either way, it says he's got 4 horns. So now we're dealing with the Jokli again, which really sends your mind reeling. You're like, fuck, was he a Jokli the whole time? What the fuck is going on? It is a little confusing, especially for someone that maybe the metaphysics of these books got a little lost on. You know what I mean? And that's what makes rereading it sound very enticing, because it's something I can kind of sink my teeth into, the metaphysics of this whole deal. But either way, here's Ne'ur making his last stand, searching for Kellis, screaming his name, and he doesn't see him. And he's like, fucking up these Shrank and shit. And I love this part where he sees like the whirlwind and like he looks up and sees nothing. Because he is possessed by a Jokli, so he's not going to see the No God. And the funny thing is the No God isn't even Kellis. It's his son, Kelmomas. So Ne'ur's here just going batshit crazy. And I love how this, like, the No God whirlwind just, like, rips him apart. Like, you see him bleeding from his swathen scars and just essentially fucking tear into nothing. Then we cut back to the ordeal men, and they are running, trampling over each other. They are making a mad dash for their lives. And during this time, I love that Mog Farao walking around is really kicking up all this like storm weather and shit, and Kore from the ground are getting caught in it, and they're being like twisted around in the air in like a cyclone and thrown at the ordeal. So at this point, you have a horde of Shrank who are fucking yelling all at the same time out of their throats, like, tell me, what do you see? And a Kore storm all flying at our ordeal. And let's face it, guys, this thing ends with one of the most heartbreaking but yet badass sentences of all time. In fact, this whole paragraph is badass, but we're just going to end it on that awesome note, right? And so did the great ordeal perish in salt and butchery. God damn. All right, guys, so now that I've recapped this story in the most dumb fuck way and laced it with profanity every 2 seconds, I think it's a great time to get into my thoughts and feelings, my true thoughts and feelings of this book, and maybe a little on the series and whatnot. If you watched my spoiler-free review, man, this book made me very emotional. It still does when I think about it. In fact, I had to kind of conjure up some anger just to get through this spoiler review without crying. But that's a good thing, guys. I really applaud Bakker for pulling all these emotions out of me. That's what I want. I want to read shit that makes me feel like a human being, that makes me feel. And I have never felt more than while reading this series. So right out the gate, I just want to jump into the ending and my feelings about it, because right out the gate, if you saw my spoiler-free review, I was mad at first, but I was also unaware of several things. So when I went back and kind of cleared some stuff up, that really diffused some of those anger bombs, I think. but not just that, I had to sit and reflect on this story, and I think that most people are going to need to. As a reviewer, a booktuber, these books are kind of problematic because they do need the time to digest, and if somebody like me reads a book and jumps immediately into the next one to bring you guys more and more content and, just to be more and more helpful. But it's like when you come across books like this, it really stops you in your tracks. I'm extremely glad that I had 4 or 5 books already read and on deck for review, because it gives me plenty of time to sit with this one. And that's what I've been doing, guys. I have not read. I've started a couple things, but I have not been able to read shit. I am literally in a moment of reflection on all of this, and I'm really digging it too. I love, once again, this rolls back into applauding Bakker for making me feel. I also have to applaud him for making me think. And this ending made me think a lot. But at first I was frustrated. But one of the main reasons is because I started to think, well, was this all for naught? And also, what the fuck is going on with so many of our players? Because things seem to be very open-ended, kind of vague. What's our status with some of our loved ones here in the story? Number one, the first time I finished it, I did not know that Proyus was dead. I didn't. I thought he was still alive. I thought that Moenghus had saved him from the fire, and he was, kind of riding it out with Moenghus now. I did not catch that part where Moenghus suffocates Proyus. So Proyus is dead. Now, I might not like that there wasn't an intimate exchange here at Proyus's death because I'm very attached to the character, but at the same time, Bakker still gives me closure. I no longer have to worry about Proyus. He's dead. He's gone. Another person I was wondering about was Serwa, because Anasarimber Serwa certainly became my favorite character in this book, and I thought the last time I saw her was falling after battling Scathula, where she's screaming, "Father!" But that's not the last time we see her. Once again, going back and rereading some of this stuff, we see at the end there when Mymara is about to look upon the no-god, she's actually looking all around. And one of the places she looks is the entrance of the High Qual, where she sees Caiudus walking out carrying the body of his blasted sister in his arms. Now, this is a little bit of closure. Does that say that Serwa is dead? Shit, it looks that way, but we're not getting a death came swirling down note or anything, so who knows? I mean, a lot of things could have been left a little vague so that Bakker has more to play with. I'm not sure. After I got what closure I kind of needed to, end this thing off, I kind of go into the next issue that or just the next thing that's confusing me, which was really everything that happened with Kellis. If you guys remember, several books back, one of my main criticisms is Kellis is too powerful. He seems unstoppable. Who's going to stop this dude? Seems like Sorewheel could have, but at the same time, too, because I'm beginning to think that Kellis is all-powerful, there was a part in these books where I just started to think that Kellis knew that the White Luck was after him and that he was playing with him. I thought that he understood that Sorewheel was not a real believer king. I misunderstood that part, so it became confusing. Now, when I go back and clear things up, I'm like, oh, okay. And I actually really dig Kellis's demise. Because for somebody that's bitching about him being too powerful and so unstoppable, it's fucking great that his cockiness is what fucking kills him. Like, fuck you, Kellis. Think you're badass? Well, guess what? You're just a pillar of salt now. So when you think about Kellis's death, it might seem anticlimactic, but I'm going to argue it's perfect. It's so fucking perfect. Fuck you, buddy. You thought you were hot shit, but you're not. You're not. The next thing I kind of want to address is just the feeling of this whole deal being nihilistic, all for naught. Like, what was the fucking point? Because that first went through my head. Like, what the fuck is all this bill? What? But I do, once again, paying attention and kind of going back. It's not all for naught. It could very well see that if you're not looking at all the things that came before and all the stuff and how the pieces fit into play to get us here kind of deal, right? It's easy to think that Nair, Urskiotha kind of got sidelined or whatever, right? Like, he's not the Nair that we love from Prince of Nothing. He's like a shell, some people might say, whatever. He doesn't make any fucking sense in this one. But the deal is, when you really think about it, Nair is perfect for this series, because otherwise you don't really get the Skilvindi reunited as one tribe. As well as he's the guy that fed widows to the best warriors to stock their ranks. Essentially, Nair needs to be in this story, otherwise the Skilvindi are pretty much nothing. Then you have the power of the judging eye, which even I was like, well, what's the fucking point of this power if it doesn't even put itself on the Aspect Emperor? The whole reason why we're fucking doing this shit. What was the whole point? There's no point to this power. But I gotta argue there, because going back and looking at it, I do not think that the men of the ordeal or whoever did survive, whatever survivors there are, pretty much owe that survival to Mymara's judging eye, because we see that the console is using the Kellis hologram to try to distract them and keep them in one place, but it is Mymara's seeing the scrutiny of the eye that lets them know that they need to fucking haul ass, dude. And so anyone that lived, it's because of the judging eye. Now I want to take a second and talk just about like the overall like characters that impressed the fuck out of me, broke my heart, whatever, right? So as you know, I was teared up pretty goddamn good in my spoiler-free review, and that has everything to do with Proyus. Proyus is a character that maybe I didn't feel so connected to right out the gate, but along the way I understood that I didn't just like Proyus. I loved that man. He was my brother, you know, and his struggles became my struggles. I'm already getting a little choked up. This guy, man, he's got a darkness, right? And he's got a fear of that darkness. And I can relate to that as a person with his own damnation that's been, you know, I have made plenty of decisions, guys, based out of fear, trying to run from said damnation. And it's really just led me down an even darker path. And I am lucky that I found personally somebody to help me out of that darkness and into the light. But that's why I'm saying this was so soul-crushing for me, because I was watching Proyus and there wasn't somebody there to bring him out of the darkness and into the light. There was somebody there pushing him further down the darkness, and Proyus didn't even see it. And it's so fucking painful. And I love that man. Like, I do, guys. There's plenty of people out there, oh, I don't give a shit. Like, my experience with this guy, I'll never forget it. In fact, I've been fighting with my wife for weeks now because we're about ready to have our son, and I've been just drilling her with, okay, I just want to make sure his middle name is Proyus. And, you know, she fought, but guess what, guys? My son, his middle name is going to be Proyus. And that's a big one for me. I tried to convey these feelings to her. I was just like, you don't understand, like, this is something very, very close, near and dear, and personal to me. And I feel so fucking busted up about Proyus that maybe giving my son his name will give him a chance to relive a different life. I know that sounds super stupid and cheesy or whatever the fuck, but this is it. This is the kind of shit that these books did to me. The next character I want to talk about shouldn't be too much of a surprise, considering how much I talk about her all the goddamn time now, and that is Anasorember Serwa. This is the hero of the story, in my opinion. Now, I know that there's not actually heroes in this story, but if there were, she would be one of them. Absolutely, guys. Like I said earlier, it's very up for a debate about her saving Moenghus. But you can't deny the fact that he is one of the only living people for sure at the end of this book. So how could you say that she didn't save him? Maybe indirectly, sure. But either way, Moenghus is in the best situation probably of his entire life. You know what I mean? He's no longer an Anasorember pet. He is free. So there you have that. You see the emotional development between her and Sorewheel, which is gigantic. It's gigantic, guys, and anyone that wants to play that one down can go fuck themselves, because there's no other Dunyain that show emotion. They are all walking calculators, dude. They're just filled with their stupid logos, logic, and they're cold. They are cold and calculating. But here we see Serwa have emotion. She has love, not just for fucking Moenghus, but for Sorewheel. This whole thing gets built up into this deal where we see him die and her cry. A Dunyang crying out of emotional pain is a pretty goddamn deep thing, guys. So once again, anyone that wants to downplay that one, then we just move into her battle prowess, right? Like, this is a girl who right out the gate saw that something was amiss on their siege of Golgotharoth. That they weren't taking the walls that they were being given, that this was a trap. She sees this, or is a retreat. Do some die? Sure, but how many lived because she was smart enough to call this little deal? I don't, it's tough to say, just the way that things worked out. But I see that, boom, she's making very smart decisions in battle where everybody else is just still charging head first like a bunch of fucking idiots. Then we see the whole spearman deal. She takes a spear beam, guys, and survives. Does it fuck her up? Yes, absolutely, as it should, but goddamn, she's strong enough to withstand Inkoroi Techni. And when they find her sizzling and naked, the first thing out of her goddamn mouth is like barking orders to get your men, make sure you guard this part, like she's immediately taking charge. Love this girl. Not only that, she saves Akamian, Mymara, and Esmenet and the baby from the fucking horde. This is another thing that's just kind of goddamn amazing. You know what I mean? Like, these people would be dead if it was not for Serwa. Like, she saves the majority of our key characters here. And to top it all off, she tells her brother to go stuff himself and then goes and fights 100 goddamn Kore bearers and a fucking dragon. This girl is impressive. Physically, emotionally, all of it. I fucking love her. Hope she's still alive, but if she's not, girl, you put your stamp all over my soul. All right, so now I just kind of want to talk about this journey, because that's what this fucking thing was for me, was one hell of a journey, and I changed, certainly, along the way. My entire life, guys, just like you've been fed specific information, especially when it deals with specific genres, like fantasy. We have been fed everything we know, and we have been conditioned to understand it as such. So here comes Bakker with his fucking bastard sword, smashing that fucking fantasy armor to pieces. And what's left is something that's unrecognizable. But for those that are willing to keep staring at those pieces, it's fucking awe-inspiring and life-changing. Years ago, I said, dude, wouldn't it be cool if there was a book that was like completely opposite of all these happy ending books? Or just, it just zags every time that they zig and shit like that. Well, little did I know that it was already created or being worked on and whatnot. Like Bakker, goddamn, I wish I would have got to him a long time ago. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad I got to take the shortest path and not have to wait on all those books. Like I'm doing now with the rest of you. Ugh. But yes, guys, this fucking journey is amazing. I am not the same reader. There is so much stuff that Bakker threw at me that if some other author would have thrown at me, I might not have dug it, or I might have even stopped reading. But whatever Bakker is doing, how he wraps this story in its filth and tragedy and also beauty and, hope at small segments, it's just so powerful, man. I've never read anything this powerful. Like I say, if you guys might have caught my spoiler-free review where I mentioned I just read Blood Meridian, and that's a book that people fucking just praise through the roof, and Cormac McCarthy is the best author living, and I'm like, dude, I liked the book, but it doesn't even come close to what I feel and what I get out of Bakker's writing. So, I mean, this journey has stretched my mind, my soul, my everything to its limits. It challenged me and left me compromised and open, but I appreciate that. I've been waiting to be fucking torn open and just left fucking, you know what I mean? Left in the elements, feeling the true sting of everything. Bakker has easily impacted me more than any other author, and that's saying something, because My life was changed with Mark Lawrence many years ago when Broken Empire came out, and Jorg Ancraft really changed my life and my reading course. Like, the way I was going to read was going to be very different from here on out. Now, after reading and consuming Bakker, I feel like so many things, not just my reading, just how I process and look at things has changed. I'm going to try to see things from a different perspective. The way he unconditioned me makes me look at things, and when it's easy to say, oh, that's not good, or it wasn't done well, now I look at it and I go, no, it's done great. It's just from a perspective that maybe you don't enjoy. My thinking is different, and I can appreciate that, guys. I could talk about these fucking books forever, and I kind of plan on it. So I'm going to keep this thing, I'm going to try to cut this thing down now, because honestly, I'll just keep going and going and going. And I think this thing's probably going to take forever for me to upload in the first place. It's taken me 3 goddamn days to shoot it. If you didn't notice, I did another wardrobe change. Yeah, I mean, guys, trust me, this is something that I'm not going to stop dropping content on. If you want more from me, trust me, it's coming. I'm going to probably be rereading the books this fall. I actually might start with I might do the audiobooks this time around. I've heard really good things. So just know that just because I finished the Unholy console doesn't mean that I'm finished talking about the second apocalypse. Like, I don't even know what to do. I'm trying to think of videos to kind of help, like, people that that haven't read the series. Like, how can we help them, like, introduce them to this world? And I do know, I'm not stupid. The further you push into this thing, the more difficult Bakker has made it for you to hang on. So man, I'm probably going to be coming up with all kinds of crazy ideas and shit, trying to get people exposed to this powerful and impactful writing. But at the same time, too, I can't just go around lying to people, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this book's about kittens and puppies, and you're going to love it. No! It's not. Well, all right, guys. Like I said, I just hope you enjoyed this, and just keep an eye out. I'll have some more shit coming your way. I don't know what shape or form it will look like or when it's coming, but it will, all right? And goddamn it, truth shines, so do pigs' teeth. Like, whatever, whoever's fucking side you're on, I'm throwing you a shout out, whether you're Zadunyani or whether you're a fucking consult skin spy. I don't care, you know what I mean? I love all you sick and twisted motherfuckers, and I'm proud to be one of you. Thank you, Bakker.